shocking video of a targeted shooting in the Northeast.
This is not okay. Can't just be shooting up houses like this.
Is this attack connected to a larger extortion investigation? Plus, cashing in on the gold rush.
People are just selling like crazy.
As precious metal prices surge, is it time to rethink your investments? And what you're driving may say about your brain.
It involves function, it involves memory, it involves decision making and planning.
The tiny changes behind the wheel that could indicate a big problem later.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Tara Nelson.
Hello and thank you for joining us. Alberta's chief justices are defending the importance of independence of the courts in a rare open letter. It comes after a series of critical comments from Premier Danielle Smith aimed at judges and the judiciary. As Stephanie Thomas reports, experts say a healthy democracy functions best with three orders of government operating independently.
The statement by the Chief Justices of Alberta courts posted online Tuesday explains the basics often taught in social studies or law courses. But the letter itself stands out.
It's not unheard of, but it sure is uncommon.
The letter addresses Albertans as proud Albertans. It says the executive branch makes policy, the legislative branch makes laws, and the judicial branch interprets them. And they all must work independently as per the Constitution. Premier Danielle Smith has made a series of comments criticizing judges, most recently on her weekly call-in radio show, when she said she wished she could direct judges regarding bail reform and wants provinces to help Ottawa appoint 2 levels of judges.
I wish I could direct the judges, honestly, Chris. The judges get very, very prickly when you criticize them.
And in November, she said,
democracy is when the elected officials make decisions. Democracy is not when unelected judges unilaterally make decisions.
Justice studies professors say elected officials should not direct the courts.
Politics change. The legal doctrine shouldn't change in terms of judicial decisions and things like that.
The notion of appointment in this is conflating American rhetoric and American messaging to the Canadian reality. It's not just apples and oranges. We're comparing grapes to watermelons.
A spokesperson for the justices say their letter was not in reaction to the premier. Still, Alberta's NDP justice critic says the UCP government actions, including Bill 14, put the justices on the defensive.
Premier lectures everyone to stay in their lane, but she is incapable of picking her own lane and staying in that.
CTV News asked Premier Danielle Smith for comment. Instead, in a statement, her press secretary told us recent court rulings had led to questions being raised about the courts, and her office respects the role of each branch of government and their independence.
Stephanie joins us from the Calgary Court Centre tonight. Stephanie, various legal professionals have publicly criticized Smith and her government.
Yes, Tara, the Canadian Bar Association also penned an open letter that was addressed to Justice Minister Mickey Amery. Now, it says that Bill 14, which is also known as the Justice Statutes Amendment Act, has the dangerous potential to weaken and erode the rule of law. And it also took issue about the government's frequent use of the notwithstanding clause. And we also heard from several Camrose lawyers, which included some former justice ministers who wrote a letter as well last week. And the judge in the decision about the constitutionality of the separation referendum was scathing against the government about its actions. Tara.
Okay, Stephanie, thank you. A Calgary family is shaken tonight after gunfire ripped through their northeast home over the weekend. Police say the attack was targeted and now believed to be part of a wider extortion scheme occurring across the city. Here's Mark Villani.
In just a split second, this masked suspect fires 7 shots into a northeast Calgary home. Surveillance footage from the homeowner shows a second person walking close behind as it all unfolds. Those living nearby were shocked.
We moved here thinking like it would be a nice community and stuff, right? So when I would hear something like that, I would just I couldn't believe it.
But the incident was even more concerning for Veer Devinder, who owns and lives in this Redstone property. He says him and his family are terrified. Extortionists asked him for $500,000, threatening that they'd shoot his home or kill him if he didn't pay up. His family left the house after that, and through a translator, he says they're thankful they weren't home when the shooting happened. It all started on January 6th. He says, I got about 10 phone calls for a couple of weeks before my house was shot up over the weekend. I reported it to police, but I didn't feel like they entertained my concerns. Devinder was once a famous Punjabi singer back in India, but he says his singing days are over and he doesn't understand why he was targeted. The caller contacted him through WhatsApp from a European phone number, but he doesn't know who that person could be. I have no bad relationships or any history of bad behavior. He says, by no means am I overly wealthy, and now I'm just a small business owner trying to support my family. This attack occurred days after a Taradale home was targeted twice. In both cases, no one was hurt, but police say these incidents are linked to a larger extortion investigation. Since 2025, police say 13 extortion incidents occurred around Calgary, 11 of which involved shootings, with many victims coming from the South Asian community.
We do feel that the offenders have some linkages to the community. It is making them aware of who to target.
Some callers are also mentioning their affiliation with the Lawrence Bishnoi gang from India, now labeled a terrorist entity by the Canadian government.
We recognize when they call that sometimes they use the name of the Lawrence Bishnoi gang as a way to fearmonger what's going on.
I'm still scared, he says, but I just want to appeal to the people who are doing this, please, to stop.
And Mark is at police headquarters tonight. Mark, how are police moving forward with this investigation?
Well, Tara, Calgary police say they have now completed more than 40 judicial authorizations as part of this series of extortion cases. They are handing over the files as well to Alert as part of a province-wide effort to track down those that are responsible for these calls. Investigators also say they have safety plans in place to offer extra support and monitoring of homes that have been targeted. They claim they're working with victims as tips come in. In the meantime, though, police are heavily relying on information from the public. Anybody who receives information, they're asked to come forward. And if you do receive a threat like this, they are reiterating, do not pay any sort of extortion sum amount of money. Tara.
Okay, Mark, thank you. Police need help finding a man who assaulted a homeowner at his front door in Copperfield. Police say on January 15th, a man banged on a door on Copperhead Way Southeast, demanding to speak to a certain person. The homeowners say no one by that name lived there, and then the man assaulted the homeowner. After a struggle, he got away in a dark-colored sedan. The suspect is in his 30s and is about 6 feet tall. Alberta country singer Paul Brandt would not say whether he supports Alberta independence following a vague social media post over the weekend. It comes as Alberta separation talks ramp up in our province. A rally last night drew more than 3,500 people. Tyson Fedor reports.
Thousands rallied for Alberta Independence Monday in Calgary.
The future of Alberta is important, and this is a big part of making it prosperous.
Everyone's seeing what we're doing here and seeing that it's more than a fringe minority like they like to make it out to be.
And the traction of that movement has been building momentum as separatists push for a referendum to leave Confederation and claim a much better economy for Albertans.
Well, it looks like we're going to have no more income tax, no more GST, no more carbon tax. We're going to get rid of all federal regulations of the oil and gas industry.
But it's also created a stir with Calgary-born award-winning country music artist Paul Brandt.
Yeah, I've got independence in my veins.
In a recent social media post, Brandt highlighted his lyric, "Yeah, I've got independence in my veins," from his 2004 hit Alberta Bound.
There's something about Alberta that doesn't settle. That always wants to make things better.
But when asked if he supports the Alberta separatist movement,
you're not going to get a yes or no answer. We have a lot of people with very legitimate grievances in this province and in this country.
Brandt says it's not up to him to make political statements to sway others, but he says he was surprised by the response. Meantime, if the petitions prove successful and Albertans vote in favor of leaving Canada through a referendum, there is still a long way to become an independent nation.
The results of the referendum themselves do not affect secession. It's not like the next day Alberta is a state.
Lawyer Logan Stack says the House of Commons would have to decide to enter into negotiations with Alberta. That could take months, if not years, if there is clear will of the people to separate.
What is it going to look like to visit relatives in Manitoba or Saskatchewan? What is it going to look like for jobs that might be tied to companies that are thinking twice about whether they want to stay in Alberta following separation?
Tyson Fedor, CTV News, Calgary.
Separation organizer Jeffrey Rath says they need to average 12,000 signatures every week. He says if the petition is successful, a rally is then planned at the Saddle Dome in May and Rogers Place in Edmonton. Corb Lund's petition against coal mining in the eastern slopes of the Rocky Mountains has been approved. Alberta's chief electoral officer says Lund's application meets the legislative requirements. The Alberta musician needs to appoint a chief financial officer now. Following that, Elections Alberta will lay out how many signatures must be collected. The town of Olds and a data company have announced Canada's largest AI hub will be built in the central Alberta community. The town and Synapse Data Centre say the project will create 2,000 construction jobs and 1,000 long-term high-tech jobs. Synapse says it will spend $10 billion over 2 years to create a facility to support rising demand for artificial intelligence, cloud computing, and data-intensive technologies. The company says the 1 gigawatt facility will be powered by a closed-cycle natural gas power and water system. The project has yet to get approvals from provincial and federal agencies. More than 100 workers in Lacombe County could be out of a job with the closure of a federal agricultural research station. It is one of 3 stations across the country set to close. Wind-down operations could take up to 12 months.
You're watching CTV News, Calgary.
The city is still working on options for a Montgomery cafe forced to move due to urgent water main work. Angels Cafe needs to vacate its business to make way for construction. It's not the only building, though, that will be impacted nearby, and officials are still figuring out the full scale of upcoming disruptions. Jordan Canagan reports.
I know we're closed, but it's not done yet.
It's the final days for Angels Cafe along the river, with a notice to move out by next Thursday.
I recognize the urgency. I recognize how important this is. But if we don't have to do this, let's not do this.
Kathy Jacobs believes the whole building shouldn't have to be removed, even if she's locked out for months. The city terminated the cafe's lease to make way for urgent construction work to replace Calgary's biggest water main.
If we do not use this location near Edworthy Park, it would cause disastrous consequences by doing a cut and cover operation through Browness and Montgomery.
City officials also say 3 buildings nearby will be impacted, but it's still working with tenants on a path forward. The city owns 2 of those 3 properties along the river.
It's going to be noisy, it's going to be dirty, there's going to be limited access into that area as we go forward. And so I need to make sure Calgarians know there will be impacts.
But the full scale of impacts isn't known. City officials are still working it out. Groups representing businesses nearby worry what could be coming.
Everybody is just sort of shell-shocked at this point that it's happening again. What we said last time was the foot traffic. It's easy to go to a different business to shop.
Jacobs wants more meetings with the city to find a solution. In the meantime, they're trying to sell off inventory.
Sunday we'll close the business off, close everything down and start to pack up and try to figure out where we're going to put things.
The mayor says work behind the scenes is happening to find a possible alternative location for Angels Cafe, but says it's a decision he stands by.
It is critical for us to move as fast as humanly possible to deliver safe and reliable, clean drinking water.
And Jordan is near Angels Cafe tonight. Jordan, what other support is the city considering for those impacted?
Well, Tara, city officials and the mayor are not ruling out any type of possible compensation for those who are impacted and other helps. For people who are living in the homes just on the other side of Angels Cafe behind me, that could mean offering up short-term hotel stays for when construction gets even busier than it already is. But there are still many unknowns about the impact of this work, including how many other buildings and properties will be impacted in the rest of Stage A and on to Stage B. And that's even as work is already underway. The replacement steel pipe for that parallel pipe along the Bears Paw feeder main is set to arrive here in the next week or 2, and the tunneling will be happening between 14 and 30 meters below the surface. Tara?
Okay, Jordan, thank you. Alberta has sent fire crews to help battle out-of-control bushfires in Australia. 37 personnel were deployed this weekend, including 20 firefighters and 17 wildfire management specialists. They'll spend the next month helping locals battle fires amid the country's record-breaking heat wave. Alberta and Australia have a long-standing relationship when it comes to firefighting efforts, with more than 1,000 firefighters and support staff deployed to our province to battle wildfires since 2015. Danielle joins us now. We are ending the day much warmer than we started it.
We're starting to have a little spring in our step, which I know is a little cheesy, but it is. We're getting into a fake spring here. So while it's not official, it's going to feel like it, and already started to feel like it today as we got up to 6 degrees. So now's the time. Make some plans because this warm weather is here to stay. We're sitting at 2 at the airport right now, looking at your next 24 hours. Bit of a wind chill tomorrow morning, -5 when off to work and school, but by the afternoon, +4 at least, with winds gusting up to 40 kilometers per hour. That full warm forecast coming up, Tara.
Thanks, Danielle. Think of all the little decisions you make when you get behind the wheel. New research suggests the way you drive could predict Alzheimer's disease years before the first signs of memory loss. And pausing to reflect on this International Holocaust Remembrance Day. We are back in 1 minute. The way older adults navigate on the roads could hold the key to detecting Alzheimer's disease years before clinical symptoms appear. That's according to new research from the University of Calgary. Jacqueline Wilson has the details.
I've always enjoyed driving.
About 10 years ago, 67-year-old John McCaffrey was diagnosed with mild cognitive impairment and frontotemporal dementia. He still drives and wants to keep doing so safely.
I go out walking in parks every day, and so I go driving to the park, and it enables me to also contribute to the household.
For 8 weeks, McCaffrey had a sensor attached to his windshield, gathering data for a University of Calgary research team, which is analyzing driving patterns to predict early dementia and Alzheimer's.
For me, an assessment of my driving skills was the most important thing.
Saya Bayat is a research co-author. Her team at UCalgary's Health City Lab worked with the University of Washington to analyze the driving patterns of over 100 people aged 65 to 85. They developed a new route complexity metric. It tracks a digital fingerprint of how we navigate behind the wheel.
Driving is very complicated. You might not think about it that way, but it involves a lot of different systems in our body. So it involves function, it involves memory, it involves decision making and planning. So we thought looking at driving as a real-world behavior can give us a window into brain health.
The study found drivers with early-stage Alzheimer's often shift to simpler, more direct routes.
We found that people at very early stages of Alzheimer's disease, so these are people who don't have clinical symptoms of Alzheimer's disease yet, show that they prefer to take routes that are less complex as they age, and we didn't see that in people who didn't have signs of Alzheimer's disease.
Researchers hope this data will eventually complement clinical tests, allowing for earlier interventions and treatments. Jacqueline Wilson, CTV News, Calgary.
If you're over 65, an active driver, and you would like to participate in the ongoing research, we have more information on our website. A new study suggests the shingles vaccine may help prevent or delay the onset of dementia more effectively than any existing treatment. The study was published in Lancet Neurology and led by researchers at McMaster University and Stanford. It analyzed health data over a 5.5-year period for more than 250,000 Ontario seniors. Researchers say the cohort that was eligible for the free vaccine, based on their age, had a lower probability of receiving a new dementia diagnosis by an absolute difference of 2% compared to the group ineligible for the vaccine. Experts say the difference works out to about 2 fewer dementia cases per 100 people. People around the world are marking a somber occasion. It is International Holocaust Remembrance Day.
Today is a day, not just today, but throughout the entire year, to reaffirm our collective responsibility to confront hatred, prevent genocide, and ensure such atrocities never, ever take root again.
City Council opened this morning's meeting with a moment of reflection. The day was created by the United Nations in 2005. About 6 million Jews were murdered by the Nazis between 1941 and 1945 in a state-orchestrated genocidal campaign.
This is CTV News, Calgary.
Let's bring Danielle back in now as we look ahead to our very nice 5-day forecast.
Very nice. So I would recommend that you make plans for the next 10 days and bank on it being quite toasty. Meaning, when you're at the grocery store, are you going to get stuff to barbecue? Are you going to head out to a patio in a few days? All of this will likely be possible because the temperatures will climb. Tomorrow will be the coolest day out of the next 10, but it will still be well above the freezing mark. All right, so we have these winds out of the west. This is a Chinook setup, a good Chinook setup. We're also under a ridge of high pressure, and the jet stream is up to the north and will remain north of us. So we're getting a warmer push of air from the south. So we have winds out of the west, 72 kilometers per hour. That was the max in Pincher Creek, just over 40 in Lethbridge, and just over 30 in Calgary. You can expect similar wind conditions tomorrow, except we'll probably tack on another 10 kilometers per hour in Calgary, so we could gust up to 40 for tomorrow afternoon. All right. So we got to 6 today in the city. We're now sitting at 2 as the temperatures drop off for the day. 2 as well in Pincher Creek. We're at 1 in Lethbridge. And again, it's taking some time for that warmer air mass to make its way off to the further east. So it's -10 in Brooks right now, -5 in Medicine Hat. But it will be warming up in these communities as well in the coming days. And here's a big reason why. The jet stream in the darker green here, that's going to remain to the north of us. So this is a ridge of high pressure that will remain in place likely for about 10 days. And that's going to allow the temperatures to actually get warmer and warmer, and will likely get into the double digits in the city by next week. All right, radar and satellite, we've had some clouds move in. They will continue to increase throughout the overnight hours, as you can see here. Shot at 7 o'clock in the morning. If you can see this from home, these little pockets here, likely what we're looking at, if you see anything at all, some light mist. Because we're going to be quite warm, we're looking at freezing rain, freezing mist, and maybe a couple raindrops with this. Very light, very isolated. We could see a little bit in parts of the city and then up the QE2, but it will be very short-lived. We will have the cloud cover, though, stick around for the day, but the sun, as you can see, will make a return on Thursday, and then it will be even warmer then. So here's your action furnace 5-day forecast. 4 degrees for tomorrow, gusts out of the west at 40 kilometers per hour, and then 7 for Thursday and Friday, 9 for Saturday, and by about Wednesday of next week, we'll likely be in the plus double digits. Tara.
Thank you, Danielle. If you broke the speed limit last year, your ticket may be about to catch up with you. Tickets for some photo traffic offences will be showing up in the mail in the coming days. They were delayed by the Canada Post labor dispute. Under provincial law, police are allowed to send out tickets within 12 months of the alleged offence date. Tickets will show up in mailboxes this month with a letter explaining the delay. Alberta sheriffs have shut down a house allegedly known for drug use in Calgary's northwest. Police responded to the home along the 2800 block of Brentwood Boulevard 26 times between May and December 2025. There was also a drug overdose death at the property in May. The Safer Communities and Neighborhoods Unit, known as SCAN, says the people using the home were financially exploiting the elderly homeowner. But despite efforts to clean up the property, nearby residents complained of drug paraphernalia and needles around the home. That house is a short distance from schools, parks, and stores. Are you thinking about your 2026 travel plans? Many Canadians are not even considering the U.S. right now. Travel agents say the rest of the world is happy to cash in on that. And later they skipped the expensive venue and the long guest list. They got married mid-air instead. Our trending videos are still to come. Things were a lot slower at the Canada-U.S. border in 2025, and new numbers suggest they might not pick up this year either. Canadian Nexus applications were cut in half last year. As Tim Brooke explains, it's the latest set of numbers that show Canuck displeasure with America, and it could be a sign of things to come.
From Beijing, China to Coutts, Alberta.
Our federal government is out there trying to find alternatives for trade, and we are doing the exact same in terms of our travel patterns.
Many Canadians have said they no longer want to depend on the U.S., and data shows they're putting their money where their mouth is. The CBSA tells us 344,000 applied for a Nexus pass last year. That's down from almost 700,000 in 2024. A 51% year-over-year decrease. The pass allows pre-approved travelers to skip main security lines at border crossings and airports.
Travel is hugely substitutable. So For every great destination there is in the U.S., we can find something very close outside of the U.S.
It's been a nice change for travel agents.
It's opening up the world for a lot of different people. Japan is very huge. Going to South America is really big, as well as Europe is always popular.
Experts and countless studies link the behavioral switch directly back to U.S. President Donald Trump.
So I think it's the uncertainty, the safety. It's not an easy travel decision to go there anymore.
Take this Calgary couple. They recently skipped their 15th annual Hawaii trip to instead go to Africa.
We have no desire to spend our money in the United States. I doubt that that's going to change, at least until this administration is gone.
It's not yet clear if a strong midterm for the Democrats or a new administration in 2028 will change things. For now, many Canadians are making it clear they'd rather be elsewhere. Tim Brooke, CTV News, Calgary.
There is anger in Italy after the U.S. revealed it will send ICE agents to the Winter Olympics. An Italian opposition party protested today after reports that ICE agents will be part of the American security team. Milan's mayor says ICE is not welcome and called the group a, quote, militia that kills. Still ahead, breaking bread to build trust. How police on the Tsuut'ina First Nation are using Bannock to bond with young youth. Police in the Tsuut'ina Nation are trying to bolster their image in the community, especially by reaching out to younger members. As Kevin Green reports, they were doing it this morning using two First Nation staples, friendship and fry bread.
It's called Bannock with a Badge. Officers sit down with youth in community spaces, the body cams aren't on, and there's no crisis happening. Still, some teens admit it's a bit unnerving.
Low-key, when I first walked in, I was nervous. Because, I had, bad experience with cops ever since I was,
JJ One Spot says his trepidation eased once the conversation started.
I feel like they're more involved in the community, I guess, doing this, being out. And it's, very inclusive and stuff.
For others, seeing officers as more than just the badge and uniform makes a big difference.
It felt good seeing them around. They're in the community a lot, making sure we're all okay, so I like seeing that.
There are 35 officers with the Tsuut'ina Nation Police serving a community of roughly 2,500 people, meaning Nation members rub shoulders with police all the time.
You see them, throughout the schools and at all of our community events. They're always present, and so you get to know them by face. You recognize them.
Corporal Kenny Big Plume says in a smaller service like this, maintaining those relationships is essential.
I'm hoping that they take away just being able to see police officers as human beings. We could be, we're parents, we're mothers, brothers, sisters, uncles, aunties.
The next Bannock with a Badge session will be held at the Redwood Meadows Community Centre in February. Kevin Green, CTV News, on the Tsuut'ina First Nation.
Great idea. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, if you could tell your future self something, what would it be?
Everybody loves somebody sometime.
Okay, whatever sage advice you would give or encouragement, you could send it from this cafe. This is called Café Pli in Paris. It's got everything you need, beautiful paper, colorful pens, you can seal it with wax. If you can't get there yourself, you can do it online. And then you ask for the letter to be delivered in either 1, 5, or 20 years.
That's kind of
Isn't that
cool.
a neat idea?
Very
I think the longer you waited, the more likely you'd forget that you ever did it. So then it would be really meaningful.
Yes.
20 years later, you get this letter from young you.
I love that.
Yeah.
How interesting will that be?
That's a neat idea.
Great idea. Yeah.
Well, most people get married surrounded by their family and friends. This couple did it in front of total strangers.
Thank you all for being here.
Tina and Roger took their wedding to a whole new level aboard a Southwest flight. The flight attendant officiated. Passengers cheered them on. I guess, they can go straight from their wedding right to their honeymoon.
Right to the honeymoon.
Yeah.
Makes sense, right?
Cut out the middleman.
Efficient.
Way cheaper. Okay, well, here's a show I almost guarantee you watched it, you loved it at some point in your life. I know you did, and it's making a comeback.
Oh my God, it's you. You're my idol.
You're sweet. Go on.
I grew up watching you. My parents grew up watching you. Their parents grew up watching you.
We all watched the Muppet Show.
Everybody did.
Yes, it's getting a reboot. The Muppet Show will include all the old stars, Kermit, Miss Piggy, and Fozzie. Sabrina Carpenter will also be in it. The special starts streaming February 4th.
What about the two old guys?
They have to still be in it, I'm sure. They're the stars. They'll all be in it. Well, if you have some old jewelry lying around, it could be worth more than you think. Calgarians are cashing in as gold prices spark a selling surge. That's next.
Checking outside right now, and the warm-up has begun. We got to 6 degrees today. The winds, not so bad. Gusting closer to 30 kilometers per hour in the city. All right, we're going to get warmer than this, though. Tomorrow's a bit of a blip and then back up again. All right, 6 degrees was our high in the city. We're sitting at 2 right now. Normal is -2. So we were well above normal today. And how does this compare to the rest of the country? Well, you can see all that warmth in southern and central BC and southwestern Alberta, and outside of that, much colder. And we're going to hold on to this thanks to a ridge of high pressure that's going to just stay in. We're kicking off with this nice Chinook flow. All right, we've had some clouds increase. We will continue to increase in cloud cover overnight tonight. Temperatures will also climb a little bit overnight tonight. So we'll go from -5 to -1 by morning, but we'll still kick off the day with a little bit of a wind chill. -5 is what it will feel like when off to work and school. And by tomorrow afternoon, a high of 4. So almost what we had today. Gusts around 40 kilometers per hour in the afternoon. That's your 24-hour forecast brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed right where it's free. And taking a look around, Kelowna 4, Kamloops, Salmon Arm also 4 for tomorrow. -4 for Edmonton. And again, a whole lot of cloud cover in Alberta because of a system that will be pushing in. -4 for Drumheller, -8 for Coronation tomorrow, 5 for Lethbridge, and a little on the gusty side once again in Pincher Creek, around 60 to 70 kilometer per hour gusts, and for Lethbridge, 40 kilometers per hour. Tara?
Thank you, Danielle. A Northeast Calgary man says his family is terrified after a gunman shot up their home. No one was hurt. At least 7 shots were fired. Police say this incident is part of a wider extortion investigation where criminals target the South Asian community. Alberta's top 3 judges have published an open letter saying an independent judiciary is required for a healthy democracy. It comes just days after Premier Danielle Smith said she would like to direct judges. And country singer Paul Brandt will not say whether he supports Alberta independence following a social media post highlighting a lyric from his hit Alberta Bound that says, "I've got independence in my veins." Gold has topped over $7,000 an ounce Canadian year to date. The commodity is up nearly 80%, which has one Calgary jewelry store seeing an influx of people trying to sell the asset. And now some might be looking to add it to their investment portfolio. Here's Tyler Barrow.
Wild Rose Jewelers offers a wide range in luxury watches and jewelry, bringing in customers like Drew Slater. He says a significant amount of his investment portfolio is gold.
It always retains its value, and the price of gold keeps going up substantially, especially recently.
As of Tuesday afternoon, gold soared past $51,655 US an ounce. The record-setting price push is clear in the cost of these 24-karat 1-gram bullions.
2 years ago, you could have got it for $100. Now you get it for over $225 each.
The store has to adjust its jewelry prices daily due to the surge. It also has seen a gold rush to sell the precious metal.
Everyone who inherited gold from the 60s and the 70s, now they feel this is the right time to sell.
Gold prices have risen dramatically over a short period. 12 months ago, it was around $2,700 US or $3,900 Canadian. It's now over $5,100 US or a whopping $7,000 Canadian. The rise tracks with President Donald Trump's second term.
It clearly coincides with the chaos that Trump has sown since his election in November, inauguration in January.
According to Lander, the commodity is acquired during times of uncertainty. So factoring in Trump's claims to annex territories along with tariff threats,
for anybody that's currently alive. We just don't have the playbook. And the thing is that each day brings a new surprise.
But should people invest in gold or silver, which has also gone on a run? A financial expert we spoke with recommends people talk to their financial advisor first.
Are you looking for capital appreciation, or are you just looking at it to be part of the theme that's happening at this point in time? It's very important to make sure you understand why it's in there before you decide to put it in there.
According to Carmelli, professional portfolio managers hold an average of 0 to 4% of gold in their portfolios. Tyler Barrow, CTV News, Calgary.
And Carmelli adds his group looks at investing in companies that will benefit from the price of gold or silver going up, as opposed to buying the commodity directly. It is earnings season now, and today a Canadian grocer shared financial results. BNN Bloomberg's Marilla Fernandez has the details.
Metro reported first quarter results that missed the mark. The grocery store chain says net earnings dropped almost 13% year over year because of what it calls a challenging operating environment. A temporary shutdown of a frozen food distribution center weighed on Metro last year. Despite the miss, the grocer is hiking its quarterly dividend. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to 73.64. West Texas Intermediate is up $1.76 to 62.39. Western Canadian Select down to 44.87. And the TSX gained just 3 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Alberta's population could surpass British Columbia's in the next 25 years to become the third largest province in the country. That's according to new projections from Stats Canada today. Under a medium growth range, the agency estimates the Canadian population could top 57 million by 2075. And officials say higher growth provinces like Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba are likely to see their demographic weight in the country increase. A Flames prospect is showing again why he is part of the team's future. Glenn takes a look at Zane Parek's goal that has everybody talking. Stay with us. NASA confirmed today the rocket that will take Canadian Jeremy Hansen and 3 other astronauts to the moon is on track for a crucial test. The rocket could be filled with fuel this Saturday, allowing Artemis 2 mission controllers to practice for launch day. And then if all goes well, they could actually launch after February 6th. Hansen and his colleagues will circle the moon and then return home in preparation for another crew touching down on the lunar surface next year. If Flames fans are looking for a reason to get excited, look no further than Zane Parek. Glenn is back with us. And Glenn, we all saw what he did at the World Juniors.
Tara, remember how good Parek was at the World Junior Hockey Tournament? And now he's starting to show his magic in the AHL with the Wranglers. The Wranglers wrapping up a 2-game series against the Laval Rocket last night. Parek scores his first American Hockey League goal in the first. This one off a Rocket, then off of Jacob Fowler and into the net. Gave the Wranglers a 2-0 lead. Now, the goal everyone's talking about still in the first. Wranglers up 3-0. Parek the spin move along the boards, and then he'll beat Fowler with the wicked shot. What a goal that was. Wranglers go on to beat the Rockets 6-3, and everyone wanted to talk about that goal after the game.
I didn't think I would score from there. I honestly just kind of put it there. I mean, there was really nowhere else to shoot or put the puck. I didn't have another play, so I just put it in the net, and I got a little lucky. So yeah,
it's just good to see him making plays, and I thought he played with a ton of confidence out there tonight. He didn't look like a kid at all. So I thought he handled himself really well, and He's been a big part of this group in the short time he's been here, so wish we could have him a little bit longer than we can, but I thought he's taken steps every game.
Yeah, I'm feeling really good about my game, especially with the puck right now, so it's nice to get a win. It's been a while since I won a hockey game, so it's nice to see all the boys happy too.
Parek can play one more game with the Wranglers on this conditioning stint. That would be Friday night in San Jose. Calgary Hitmen back in action tomorrow night as they host the Edmonton Oil Kings. The Hitmen made a shrewd move ahead of the WHL's trade deadline, bringing in Julian Mays from the Regina Pats.
Julian Mays, the former Regina Pat, danced to the middle, shot, scores!
The Calgary Hitmen acquired forward Julian Mays from Regina in exchange for a third-rounder in 2027 and another third-round pick in 2028. And the 18-year-old has been everything they had hoped for and more. In 14 games with the Hitmen, Mays has 8 goals and 11 assists. He's fit in really well.
Just my teammates, and I think the structure they have and the coaches believing in me here, and I think everything's just been going really well, and it's just a perfect fit here. I just think the coaches giving me that rope and trusting me just coming in here from day one, and I'm just really grateful to be here, and for them doing that. I've been taking advantage of it, and I think they've been using me to my tools, and I think we've been working really well together.
And Olsen can't get to it. Mays will move to the middle, shoots, and scores.
The Hitmen knew they were going to get a player who could put up some points, but they've also been impressed with his defensive play.
Obviously a very dynamic player, brings a lot of speed. Really impressed with how he's progressed with his play without the puck as well. So, I mean, that was an area where, when we were watching him, we thought that he could continue to improve his game, and he has done that. So that's really positive, but he's definitely a dangerous player when he has the puck.
That work away from the puck didn't happen overnight. Mays knew it was something he had to improve on.
I think earlier when I was younger, I wasn't the greatest at that, and I think I've been working on that a lot, and it's nice to be noticed that by your peers and your bosses.
Puck drop for tomorrow night's game, a little after 7 at the Scotiabank Saddledome. Well, it was an all-Alberta matchup at the Scotties Tournament of Hearts tonight. Calgary's Kayla Skurlik up against Edmonton's Selena Sturmey. Both rinks 3-1 heading into this game. We're going to pick it up in the third end, and this was a big shot for Skurlik. She attempts to run back, but doesn't get anything there. None of the Yellowstones out, so it's a huge advantage for Sturmey, and this is a simple draw for 4. You know she's not going to make that mistake. Count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, commanding 4-0 lead. Skurlik, fourth end, has a chance to cut into the lead. She's looking for the draw for 2. Skurlik on target. Good answer from the Garrison rink. Makes it a 4-2 game. They're now near the end of the 7th end. Sturmey has a 5-3 lead.
Thank you, Glenn. Let's take our final peek at the forecast. Beautiful few days ahead.
Yeah, we need to make the plans. Even when you're going grocery shopping, think, am I going to barbecue
Think steak.
Think big, everybody.
Come on.
Enjoy this fake spring, 4 degrees for tomorrow, so that will be the coolest of the next 10. Then 7 for Thursday and Friday. 9 for Saturday, showing you the 10-day trend here. Oh my goodness, likely the double digits for Wednesday and Thursday of next week. This is a long-term warm-up where we're going to be stuck under a ridge of high pressure. I shouldn't say stuck, but we'll be under a ridge of high pressure.
We will be happily living under a ridge of high pressure.
Well put, Tara. All right, weather window brought to you by Lux Windows and Doors. Oh, another thing to consider, will you head to the mountains for a day, do a little warm weather hike? Weather window brought to you by Lux Windows and Doors, crafting quality windows and doors for your style, budget, Alberta's climate. Michael Interessano sent this one in. He took this in Signal Hill, obviously facing west. Not bad at all.
That's a beautiful shot.
Going to Banff Saturday.
Oh, there you go.
That, yeah.
We have nice weather.
Beautiful.
I mean, you still need layers, but it's going to be quite nice for this time of year.
Thanks, Danielle. Thanks for your company tonight. Have a great evening. We'll see you again tomorrow.